Good day everyone. Today on the bench I'm going to tie up my saltwater gurgler. Here's a fly that's very easy to tie, very effective and durable. User friendly. I've caught more big snook on this fly than any other, without question. Alright, to tie the fly we're going to start with the materials we need. I'm going to use a Gamakatsu 1/0. This is a perfect bend tin plated hook. They're not a heavy hook, but they're very sharp. Give me a good gape. You can be hook and tarpon or also Jacquevel on this as well. You tie it in smaller sizes, change up the colors. Sea trout will be all over it too. Okay, and also what we need is some crystal flash. I'm going to use kind of a bait fish color for under the tail. The tail I'm going to be using some extra select craft fur. Back I'm going to be using some larva lace foam. This is nice thick super soft foam, wide open cell foam cut into half-inch strips. And also around the tail I'm going to use some silver chrome rubber legs. The hackle we'll be using some Palmer chenille. This is a medium in pearl. And what else do we need? Oh yes, a very important thing is we're going to need weed guard. Use a 40-pound or some very stiff weed guard to keep this fly out of the mangrove roots. You're going to definitely want to get thrown in there as tight as you can to the mangroves, and that'll save you a lot of grief and a lot of flies. So we'll get a hook in the vise and tie one of these little gurglers up, or big gurgler actually. Great pattern. Jack Gartside came out with the gurgler years ago for, I don't know what he tied it for originally. Probably taken all kinds of trout and bass and all kinds of fish have fell victim to a gurgler at one time or another. So I want this being a 3/0 flat hook tying thread. It's very slippery. I'm just going to put a little bit of cement on my shank, just to kind of get a bit of a base started there, so my thread won't roll around, my body won't throw around later. Otherwise this flat thread, it's strong, doesn't cut my foam, is why I like to use it. Okay, so there we go with that. We're going to grab some of our crystal flash for under the tail. You don't have to use a whole lot. I used quite a bit in that other fly I showed you. This is really nice, kind of a bait fish coloration. You can use a pearl or silver or whatever you like. I use this on so many flies. It really looks good in the water. I'm going to get me another boatload of that. Okay, then we'll come in with some of our extra select craft hair for the tail. Craft hair makes a really good tail. It doesn't soak up water. It's got a super amount of movement. I'm going to leave all the underfur in here, the bulk. I want that in there. I can maybe pull just a wee little bit out, just to help me tie down, but I like that little bulk in the tail there. And we'll just bind this down right over the point of the barb. We can always know where we're at on our hook there. You can add a little more on top if you like. You can always add a little more. There you go. Nice full tail. We'll be covering that up. Bring in some of our rubber legs. You can go with a couple on each side, 3. Rubber legs always kick nice. Add a lot to a pattern. I use lots of rubber legs like this on saltwater and also salmon and steelhead. Just that extra movement out the back. We're going to get some good heat on this. Hold that down. Come in with some of our foam. I'm going to cut it 1/2 inch wide strip. Bring my thread to the front. I'm going to leave it back. I'm going to leave a little space here, about 1/8 of an inch at the front. I don't want to crowd my eye there. I need to put on that weed guard. I want to make sure I get that on there. And then I can check where my shell back's going to be pulled. Make sure that's tied down far enough to the back and tied down really good and tight. Then I'll get some of my medium Palmer chenille and pearl. I've used pink on there even, and it's worked well too. But I like to keep it just as white, bright. And it's really the noise that this fly makes, I think, that makes it as good as it is. Okay, now I want to keep my chenille coming to the rear. There we go. Kind of wants to fold on me. There we go. There we go. Now if you take it and kind of wind it forward like I am, it'll fall into place really nice. I'm getting big wide turns. Don't need to overdo it. And then tie that off. Okay. Clip it off the top. I'm just going to have the shell back coming over it anyway. Then we'll bring in our back. I'm going to put a little bit of a stretch on that. And this flat thread, of course, won't cut into that foam. I'm going to pull it back so it stands it up a little bit. There we go. Bring our 40-pound. This is Maxima. It's a stiff leader material. It's got a natural curve to it. I'm going to take my pliers and I'm just going to flatten it out. That'll help it go around the shank. I'm just going to get a couple turns here, and then I missed it. There we go, I missed it a couple more times. I'm just going to catch it in here. There we go. Then I can position it down where I have it pinched. I'm going to hold it down. My fingers, I'm going in top and behind. Kind of get an X pattern on there. And come over the top. There we go. Get my back, and I can just whip finish kind of behind. And I'll put some resin on that later too, like some UV resin, just to sturdy everything up. Make sure my weed guards are where they want. I can trim them below the hook point. When I got the two like that, I get a pretty good spread on there, so it will not hang up on any of the mangrove roots. Then I just come in the top, trim my front, notch it off the sides. Like I say, put my UV resin on there, and there you go. That is a really effective fly. Like I said, I've got some huge snook on that, and tarpon as well. So make sure you're using a real good hook underneath there, because you'll be on a lot of fish, and it's a very durable pattern, but it's so nice and light. It's dry. It doesn't soak up any water. It's very easy to use. So all the best to you when you're heading down your saltwater trips, and try one of these saltwater gurglers. Thanks for watching.